Hey, I've been looking under rocks and breaking locks, just trying to find ya. I've been like a maniac, insomniac, 5 steps behind ya. Tell them other girls they can hit the exit check, please. Cause I finally found the girl of my dreams. Much more than a Grammy Award. That's how much you mean to me. Baby, you're my it girl. Go and take a shit, girl. I can wait, I'll be alright. It's crazy how we fit, girl. This is it, girl, we're gonna take a walk tonight. And I just wanna walk you all night long. And put you in the middle of a spotlight. You can be my it girl. Go and take a shit, girl. I've lost my damn mind. Pick up your poop there, sorry. I can't afford your poop, and that's probably embarrassing. We may not publish this one. Okay. You got your poops. Okay, it's picked up. Yay, we got this. All right, and we're back. Hey, you can't help but turning heads, knocking them dead. Jumping like flies around you. Once I get this puppy close, not letting go. Hoping you're about to tell them other guys they can lose your number. Nah. Hey, they can lose your caller. You're done. They don't get another shot cause you're love drunk. Like a TV show playing reruns. Every chance I get, hey, I'ma walk this dog. Yeah. All right. How fun is life? Real fun. This is my favorite place in the entire world. The Branson Landing, located in the beautiful Branson, Missouri. That stage is where I practiced my speaking during the start of COVID lockdown when really no one knew what the fuck was going on. We don't know what the fuck's going on today, but we knew even less of what the fuck was going on during this time 2 years ago. I've mentioned a few times casually, I had a very well-paying corporate job, which I lucked into right out of college. And when COVID hit, I couldn't sleep at night, and I ended up resigning. It's complicated, that job. And I found myself sad, lonely, and temporarily homeless. So I reasoned it would be better to spend all my savings, including my 401k, if necessary, to not be in prison. So that's what I did. Well, I sold my house and got mentally healthy again, because corporate America can be a nasty place, especially Walmart corporate America. So I stayed in that hotel room, the 5th floor there. I believe it's the one just to the right of the big Hilton Square, or 2 to the right, maybe. And this was basically a ghost town all day, every day. I stayed out here for 53 nights, and I only drove out of Branson to walk her Nova stay with my parents for those 53 nights. I walked up and down the boardwalk. During the day, I would go on jogs through the shops. I looked like a normal motherfucker to most people, but I was in the worst state of mind you could possibly imagine. But when people are in the darkest times of their life, that's also when they're capable of creating the most beautiful things. Pain is so beautiful. Let's go on a tour. I used to come out here once every week. Now I come out here about once every month to reflect. Because the good thing about dark times is you learn most about yourself. And when I was hurting really bad, I had to develop routines to make sure I didn't ruin my life. And those routines were mostly based on the goal of being time efficient And now that I feel better, I still have those good routines, but I also feel better, so now I perform even better, and I keep my time efficiency. Oh, shoot, that's luck, man. Security's getting tight these days, Nova. That's why we go to other doors. And if one door opens to another door closed, I hope you keep on walking till you find the window when it's cold outside. I love this place. Excuse me. These people act like they ain't never seen a dog on the floor, jaws all on the floor, bursting like, okay. Yep, we said fuck that. Because I don't have my key card to get access to the elevator. I gotta use the stairs. Duh. Great job. Rah. Yeah. I always say there's more to life than money. And I genuinely believe that. But I think when people say money doesn't buy happiness, what they mean is if we have to sell our souls for money, that could be dangerous. But if I can make money playing chess and do this YouTube channel and shit, I'm gonna buy a condo out here. It's a beautiful place. Brings back good and bad memories. And Nova likes it out here, don't you, babe? Everyone tells her how beautiful she is. Because she is. Yeah, come on, babe. Let's go to our old room. Nova did not stay with me, but I think the very last day I had the room, it was expensive, so I was wanting to get out once I had my house ready. But Nova came out here one day, and she did so good. Yes, she did. All right, one more flight there. All right. Great job, Nova. All right. But it was spooky when I stayed out here, because like there was no one in hotels, which is why it was the perfect place to be. I was like the only person in this hotel. It seemed like the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I just ran shit. And they weren't gonna kick me out because they were making no money because no one was staying here. So I could pretty much do whatever the fuck I wanted. But I would come out every night and meditate. You can't really see the outdoors, I guess. But I would look at the streets and it would be just like it is, except for all day long, there was nobody on the streets. And I would just sit here and think and meditate, and then once my brain calmed down, I would go to sleep. This was my old room. But I would come this way, and I would come to my room, and that was my room right there. For 53 nights during a pandemic lockdown, I stayed in that room. Some nights I cried, other nights I sang. Most nights I cried and I sang while I sang. I read a lot of books, taught myself a lot of music theory. I did a lot of shit in that room. But every morning, most importantly, I think I developed routines again, because when COVID hit in March, I had a lot of very specific routines that allowed me to perform pretty well and feel pretty good while the world went fucking nuts. But then when I didn't have that consistency, I almost shut her tail a little. Holy shit, I'm sorry, man. When I lost that consistency, because kind of like abusive relationships, sometimes people stay in them just because they don't want change. Or you'll hear like bad special ops military people come back to normal society. And obviously, normal society is much less stressful than being in Iraq or Afghanistan and having to worry about being blown up or shot. But sometimes, that's why it's important to see other perspective. Someone in war might actually, at least temporarily, miss that environment just because they're so used to the chaos. And so when they come here, it's like a complete shock, and it's overwhelming mentally. And at face value, it's like, okay, why are you freaking out? You're not at war anymore, and you're safe in America. But to them, they're so used to it, we need to have some empathy, man. Okay. So that's why I developed routines. And most importantly, during stressful times, I read a lot about people who had been through way worse shit than I did. And what I found was the key is to regain control of your mind. And I think with social media, it makes that hard. Someone's in my stairwell. Shit. We gotta go. We gotta go. Are these doors open? Can we get out this way? It would appear we can. But what I found was, after a lot of reading and trial and error myself, is when we're in a really stressful time in our life, the temptation is going to be to do what is natural, which is to act and try to stop whatever painful experience is going on. And that usually means we rush and make a bad choice. Usually action is good, but the best decision I made during lockdown, when everyone was trying to cling to job safety and solidify everything and have some security, is I just sat still and I tried to really just completely embrace loneliness and not get on social media and just sit still and regain control of my thoughts after I was so confused by COVID and by my previous work situation. And I would go down to the fountain every morning where those people are talking, and I would meditate for about 10 to 15 minutes. I would check my phone sometimes, but usually I would just get my phone out and play one song in the morning, and then I would walk up this hill after doing a little meditation. And I'd walk up this big, long hill to a diner because, again, I got lucky as shit to get a leave of absence submitted from corporate America. Corporate America is snaky, but it pays well. So I was making really good money to basically do nothing but get healthy. And I had the money to get breakfast just about every day. It was great. Food is good. Not starving is great. People should not starve. But this was my routine. Probably every single day for those 53 days and nights. Somewhere between 4 a.m. if I was in real bad shape, but I couldn't eat breakfast if I got up that early. But usually between like 6 and 6:30 a.m. I'd start making this walk by myself, but Nova's joining me now. It was lonely. And every now and then I'd go to that building which had breakfast, but most of the time I wouldn't. It was a little more expensive there if I remember correctly, and there were some really interesting people who sometimes conversed with me at breakfast, and human interaction was scarce at that time, so I went where the humans were. One of the guys I ended up finding out was a big shot in the real estate industry here, and if I had the money, I would have bought a condo from him that day. His name was Charlie. I'm good with names. Especially if they're interesting people. No one likes someone who is forgettable. One of my closer friends, his name is Neil. He made the comment when I was in bad shape mentally about almost 2 years ago. And that's kind of when I started talking to Neil again frequently, was when I was recovering in this hotel. And Neil said, Dayton, and this might be a direct quote from Neil. Neil said, I've never talked to anyone interesting who hasn't been through some shit. Keep marching, babe. Let me repeat that. That's a really insightful thought. Neil said, Dayton, I've never talked to anyone interesting who has not been through some shit. Let that sink in. Deep into your brain. Let that thought sink in so deep. And once it's in there, I'll do whatever the fuck you want. I don't have any control over you. This is a YouTube channel. I can't see you to know if you're listening to me or if you're multitasking. I just hope you're paying attention. But I agree with Neil. I had to think about it when Neil said that to me. But I also could not think of one interesting person in my experience that had not been through some very painful events. I'd walk here. No pets allowed, babe, sorry. Service animals welcomed. What if it's a pet and a service animal? She's a pet and a service animal and my best friend. We need to clarify that sign. Great place though, I highly recommend Clockers. Great staff, great customers, great place to eat at in the morning. Anyone traveling through Branson, Missouri. Then I'd walk back down this hill. But you realize it's a little longer walk than it feels because you're waking up in the morning and you're just like, fuck this. When you're walking back. But I was talking to one of my friends from my first high school. His name is Chance. Chance is a very talented comedian. He does some acting also and some podcasting. Chance is great. Look him up, Chance Nichols. He also hosts a podcast called We Didn't Peak, and it's a very good podcast. Very interesting way to hear about up-and-coming actors, actresses, entertainers. And Chance does a good job of mixing in some fun world events while he discusses the careers of his guests. Anyway, what was I saying? What were we saying, babe? Lost my train of thought. We're talking about... Oh yeah, I was telling Chance, because Chance came back to our hometown of Springfield, and I reconnected with him. But I'm like, Chance, I respect your comedy and your passions and your art. Not because Chance is good, though Chance is talented. But I worked with a lot of people who had quite a bit of money, but they were corporate people. They weren't necessarily passionate about their work. Some of them hated their lives, but they were just so used to getting fixed income that they would do whatever it took to keep it. Not necessarily always bad people, just boring people to talk to. And that's when I realized, like I told Chance over Facebook Messenger, I said, Chance, I would rather eat dinner with a beekeeper. I don't know anything about beekeeping. I can't imagine it's super fun. But if someone walked into my a chess club, for example, the St. Louis Chess Club, and they're just like, Dayton, I love keeping bees. It's my life's passion. I'd be like, sit down, let's play some chess. I'll get my podcast equipment out. Why do you love keeping some bees? Not my thing, but if that person's eyes light up when he or she starts talking about beekeeping, at least I don't have to sit there and listen to someone be fake or talk about their boats or their kids. I'm like, man, I don't give a shit what you do. As long as you're passionate about it and you enjoy it, I'll fucking listen. And that's why I like people like Chance. Because it takes a lot of confidence to get up there on stage and get criticized and sacrifice a lot of things because you're passionate about your comedy. That's what Chance does. Chance is great. Back to my task at hand. So I'd walk up that hill, eat breakfast, come back. I'd walk back up to my room. And usually I would have read an article on my phone,
or check my text messages by this time, but I tried to never reply to anything because of the frustration and just confusion. It's hard to have empathy when you don't see people. So you don't want to say or put anything in writing that you don't mean. And then I would go to my room, I'd go swim. Let's show them the pool, babe. Let's go. Please keep in mind, I was very lucky to be able to afford this and get that leave of absence. That's why everyone deserves an opportunity to get healthy, and mental health care should be available to everyone. Because had I not got that LOA, let's go this way, babe. Let's go. And had I not been able to spend these 53 nights and afford these 53 nights to get healthy during COVID lockdown, I'm for sure in rehab, if not in prison. But that's not how it played out, baby. And I'm here, I'm standing strong. But another one of the things I really tried to focus on was to not try to do too much. Because in stressful times, that's what people do, is they make the mistake of trying to get it all done, or if something bad happened in your life, trying to fix it all in one day, and then you make it worse. And then it gets to the point where by being too ambitious and trying to do too much, you end up ruining your life with good intentions. And ruining our lives with anyone with good intentions does not deserve their life ruined. So, hey. I'm good, how are you? Every morning about 7 or 8, I would come to this hotel pool. If I needed to get a workout in, I would go to the other one because they had a better fitness center. This one has a fitness center too. And I would get in the pool and I would do 3 touches. So down, back, down. And then I walk across, I'd do a down, back, and then I'd do 1 down. Then I'd walk across. Or no, sorry, I would do 3 touches, rest, 2 touches, 1 touch, walk across, 2 touches, 3 touches. Then I go hot tub for 5 minutes, then I go upstairs and start my day. And that was like 2 hours, or sometimes even more than 2 hours, before I even did anything besides just relax and take care of my own mental health. Then I still had to face the day and do some shit I didn't want to do, or some things that were hard. But after those first 2 hours, I at least felt in control of my thoughts and my decisions, therefore, because I got up early and I took that time to spend with myself. And that made a painful experience or a painful time period for everyone. Anyone that says they were happy over the last 2 years is a fucking lunatic. It's not possible to be super happy every day when the world is this crazy. But we can still have some happy moments. And that's what I felt. Getting up and doing that little routine every single day gave me a chance to have more happy moments had I not. And then I did a lot of things, really just reinforcing being present because I was so shocked. It's kind of like, if someone's playing in the candidates tournament, I forgot, I don't have the entire field of 8 memorized, but I think Fabiano, Hikaru, I can picture him in my head. Levon, who's that really good Asian ethnicity player? Ding, and the last name starts with an L. I'm not going to mispronounce it. Jan Nepomniachtchi, I believe is how you say his last name, because he automatically qualified for the candidates since he was runner-up and lost to Magnus in the World Championship previously. Who's that really good young player that everyone's kind of concerned about because he's so talented? Really good. He's really good. Feroja. He's the really good young player that Magnus is hoping to face. And then there would be 2 more spots, I believe. I don't know who's in those. Damn it. But anyway, my point, I digress. You know, at the candidates tournament with such extremely gifted and hard-working, experienced chess athletes, if one of them at that level of chess were to blunder their queen, which is not going to happen, like let's say Fabiano, who I don't know if he's still the number 2 in the world, but I think Fabiano is definitely one of the favorites. Let's say Fabiano hypothetically were to blunder Fabiano's queen. Not going to happen because he's really good at chess. Okay, whoever the enemy is would take like 30 minutes trying to figure out why Fabiano was sacrificing his queen, because you don't make that error at that level of chess. But if indeed someone of the caliber of chess athlete like Fabiano is made that type of just mindless mistake, then enemies should still you still got to take the queen. It's not supposed to happen at professional chess, but you still punish enemies for enemy blunders. But if I were to get my dream to come true and get to play a top grandmaster in chess after I was done fangirling and getting autographs, okay, if I blundered my queen right now, I'm a pretty decent intermediate chess athlete. I would say my rating on chess.com, I'm probably like a 1500, 1600, but that's not actually, I'd say chess.com's a little higher than most ratings at the professional, like the FIDE or Chess Federation rankings. I'm probably about a 1300 in those, I'd say. And if I blundered my queen, a top GM would be like, yeah, that happens. Intermediates sometimes blunder queens, and they would just take my queen. That's similar to how my experience with Walmart was, because I expected to be laid off, and then I realized I probably was fired, but I got lucky in one of those deals where time froze, and Goliath made a bad fucking mistake, and I still had life when I should not have had life. And to this day, that is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was to take enemy Walmart's queen and get my leave of absence submitted. Because the shock of a company of that caliber with that much resources like Walmart has, to have that bad of a miss, and for me to be the beneficiary of it, once I did capitalize on it, but it took so much it took every bit of self-control I had to not choke that away, really. Because I was so surprised. And there were other events going on in my personal life also. But I was able to recognize a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take enemy Walmart's queen when enemy Walmart handed it to me. And I did. But the stress when I finally got situated here, and the shock of getting a leave of absence for emotional distress against Walmart, arguably the biggest bully in American business history, and having a chance to do something special with my life, I developed insane amounts of routines to try to be present. And like when I went bowling, I would talk to the ball because I was so lonely and surprised, and to remind myself, like, you know, don't worry about the past, don't worry about anything else but bowling that frame. And my mind was wanting to jump around and think about, oh, what do I need to do? Do I need to get a lawyer? What do I need to do? But logically, the best way to prepare for whatever would happen with the Walmart situation or the world with COVID, because we didn't know if the world was going to end. It was fucking crazy. And I was sitting here in complete isolation with all my family mad at me and no one to talk to. But you got to try to find a way to make your brain logical. And for me, that meant, okay, don't worry about anything but that frame of bowling. You know, the past is dead. Maybe you got lucky. Sometimes you do. But when you do, all you can do is capitalize on it and try to get your mind back to the present moment. This is the boardwalk I would sing and dance on and meditate on at night. If there were any cameras, I'd love to see them, because I was like crazy at 1 a.m. One time I saw an older lady who was out super late at night, and I think it was a weeknight, and I was singing Usher songs at the top of my lungs because no one was out here. I basically had this beautiful strip called the Branson Landing, and it's not like a nationally renowned location, but it's a big deal. I mean, people come from all over the world. It's a beautiful place. They do a great job. And I had it all to myself during COVID lockdown. And so when I saw this older lady, I was just like, what the fuck? Like it was pretty sure it was a weeknight, and it was definitely past 11 p.m. And I couldn't sleep, so I would just come out here and sing and dance and run, trying to wear myself out so I fall asleep. And this lady, it was me and her, and probably no one else besides possibly the hotel employees. All the businesses were either closed or closing early at the time. And it kind of freaked me out because I'm thinking like that movie, what is it? Is it Rush Hour? Maybe? Where the hotel lady is like a good, nice old lady, but she's actually a mass murderer who's evil. And I was like, is this what's about to happen to me? Is this lady about to pull out a dart and blow it right into my neck and kill me? I didn't know it was gonna happen. That might actually be Johnny English. Whatever movie that was. And so this old lady, I'm looking at her and I'm like, well, don't be an asshole. She's a nice old lady. Say hi to her. Maybe she wants to talk. Maybe she's lonely or going through something also. Maybe you can make a friend. And this old lady looked at me while I was singing and dancing. I was ready to be polite. And it's like 11 p.m. or midnight during a COVID lockdown. And she just looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm sitting here singing and dancing with great rhythm, I might add, to Usher. And I said hi. I don't think she said hi back. And I'm just like, where's the empathy in the world? My generation is the assholes, and I was ready to be kind to this lady. And I'm singing and dancing during very crazy times. And she's the one that looks at me like I'm crazy, you know? I'm like, if you weren't an old lady, I'd probably throw your ass in the water. Don't look at me like I'm crazy for being happy and doing what it takes to cope. A lot of fun stories like that. But anyway, this is a beautiful place. There's no telling if I'm going to end up being a great chess player, if I can get some training from the professional community. I'll pour my heart and soul into chess, man. I really do love chess. There's always people that are going to say, oh, you're doing this for this motive. And yeah, I need money to survive. I need money to support my beautiful dog. But I met chess at a time in my life where I needed a fucking friend. And I realized all the things that are coming out of the news about the benefits of chess. I saw some stuff. I'm connected with some chess humans on LinkedIn. They seem great. And they're doing a lot of things with refugees from Ukraine, teaching them chess to cope with all the trauma. And chess is just, like, aside from possibly marijuana when used constructively, I think chess is the best antidepressant and calmer of nerves ever. I really do. If no one ever pays me a dime to be in a video or have a career in chess, I will still fucking play chess in my room by myself if no one will play with me. I love chess. I love chess. I love chess. And chess loves you too. Chess loves anyone who gives her a chance. But I did remind you, when I was staying at this landing hotel, I did not really even know chess was a thing. I didn't start getting serious about chess until December of 2020. And even then I was kind of just playing as a fun game because I couldn't go out and do anything. And I needed something to do. Otherwise, I never would have played chess. Had I not got that leave of absence, that's why a lot of times the most painful things turn into the best things. Another reason I advocate for friends to not kill themselves if you're thinking about it, or if you currently have a gun to your head and you're just like, Dayton, why should I not do it? Here's why you don't kill yourself, friends. Because chess might not be for you. Chess makes me happy, but you might find something that is similar to chess for me, for you. But if you kill yourself, you're not going to probably live to find your purpose and your talents. So don't kill yourself. Hope that was inspirational for anyone struggling with suicidal thoughts. But at the time, I think what initially motivated me to do a YouTube channel was I finally got out of here. I got into my house, and I'm just like, man, after what I've been through, I should write a book. And I actually did. I'm 104 pages into a book. And and I've got a draft ready to be published on Amazon. I have my Amazon account ready. I know how to work the authoring tools on Amazon if I want to publish my book. But I probably became fascinated with music before I found chess, and I actually used a lot of the principles of music when I was teaching myself music theory to teach myself how to become a competent chess athlete. And now I'm intermediate, but to get from intermediate to advanced or expert chess without starting when you were young, I really need to get to St. Louis and get some training and play good competition in person. That's just the advantage of in person, is you might meet people that can study your play and your psychology and give you tips. I met an athlete named Julian. He's in college at Webster, and Julian was great. I battled him in possibly the Thanksgiving Open at St. Louis Chess Club, and Julian learned from his dad and had been playing for over a decade. He was very good. I would say Julian was like a 1600 or 1700 in USCF, so that's not bad, especially for someone who's just playing for fun. But Julian, he got me up 2 pawns. He was up 2 pawns pretty early, and then he was too good for me to recover. But I'll tell you what, after my experience in the hotel and all the pain, I developed a lot more fight than I used to have. And I think Julian respected that I didn't just fold. He could tell I was trying, even though we both knew I was probably going to lose. I think Julian respected my decision to fight and at least make him earn his win, which he did. But Julian, not knowing who I was or that I had a YouTube chess podcast or anything like that, he took me over to a board after the tournament, and he was kind enough to replay the game from the notations and give me advice. And also, more importantly, enemy Julian / friend Julian answered my questions, and I asked him what his thought process was when I was doing things. And usually the challenge was Julian was at least 1 or 2 moves better in terms of anticipation, and that gave him enough of an edge. He basically attacked me to death, and I ended up playing defense. And my game, if I'm going to defeat a stronger chess athlete at this stage of my chess career, is I cannot get behind. I am not skilled or experienced enough to fight back from a deficit yet. My attacking, my counterattacking is just not good enough. I end up playing too much defense, and I get into time trouble. But if I can play a strong open and keep it close in the open, my middle game is not super far off from advanced, I feel. And I can at least put up a fight against stronger athletes if I can play a good open. But anyway, I went there a lot. That was one of the few venues that had any live music at all. They were probably one of the first places to open live music back up. It's called the Paddle Wheel. It's a great place. I actually applied for a job there, but then I got the YouTube channel going and changed my mind. But one of my decisions, back to the YouTube, is I wrote down in my journal, my finances and stuff. And then I wrote down, what are my passions? Is there anything I could do to start a business? And I am passionate about technology because I worked in it. I learned a lot. I like QA and reviewing code. But I didn't feel I was competent enough with technology to start a business during COVID because it would be hard for me to build a team. There are some people in technology, Bill Gates, people like that have the technical expertise to do some stuff on their own and get it off the ground. But I'm not good enough with technology to, I'm okay. I understand it. I understand the high level of how a lot of systems integrate and some of the basic calls between systems. But in terms of coding anything myself, I would be really struggling. So my plan was, if I do a technology startup, I definitely needed to wait till COVID was over so I could interview and evaluate talent to hire in person. So I kind of ruled out the technology startup. Then I'm like, do I need to get a job? And I applied for a job. And before I accepted it, I'm like, is there anything that I can do with speaking? Because I took some speaking courses, and I even competed at a few events called Toastmasters in my time in Bentonville. And I got a lot better. My confidence elevated a lot through my speaking development. Because unfortunately, if one can speak in this crazy world, you're always going to have chances. Speaking is the quickest way to influence in almost any field. And so that's when I thought about the YouTube channel, and then I thought about the fact that everyone was saying COVID's going to end any day, and that was early 2021. And of course, COVID's still going on. It's 2022 now. And I'm like, what if COVID doesn't end? And I looked up some of the influencers, and I was already familiar with some of the chess people's YouTube channels and Botez Live. I'm a fan of that because I love Alexander Botez. She's going to love me back, probably. It's a great deal for Alexander Botez. Just a little side note, because she gets to enjoy a boyfriend who respects her. Obviously, I respect her because she's good at chess and she's pretty and she's well-spoken. But also, she wants someone that's interested in chess, so I'll understand her obsession with the sport. And it's good for me, too, because I get trained and I get to date Alexander Botez. It's perfect. I don't have to pay for a chess instructor. It would be cruel of Alex to charge me if she was my girlfriend. Anyway, but I wrote down, if the world goes fucking nuts again, I want to be in a career that I enjoy. And I didn't really know what I loved at the time besides chess, but I was still probably a beginner in chess at that time when I started the YouTube channel. And I wrote down in my journal, okay, when you were at your worst, where did you go for comfort and hope? And that's where I went. I went to that paddle wheel, the live music, and I tried to understand, because I learned music theory very quickly. I had so much time alone out here. I tried to understand what the guitarist was doing on stage. And I remember thinking, after I understood the scales he was playing and all the stuff that he's doing that looks so complicated to the untrained eye, I'm like, it's impressive that he can apply it. But in terms of understanding the music being played, I actually got to where out here, I'm like, maybe I could do that. I'm not too far off of understanding what he's doing. I just need to find ways to apply my understanding of music. And it gave me a lot of peace just being out here with the music when there was really no music live that I knew of in the country. Aside from out here, I'm sure there was, but that's all I knew. And so I'm like, if when I was at my worst and lonely and I could barely even think, and I was so stressed and depressed, I couldn't even really see past the current moment, where did I go? I went to the music. So I figured doing something with music wouldn't be a bad idea. And if I could monetize it and make a lot of money doing it, that'd be great and possibly help people. And then I'm like, well, I already love chess and I'm better with music. So what if I could kind of augment my chess, which was very average at the time, with music and speaking? And then if I can entertain and retain attention with my music and speaking, that will give me time to get better at chess. And then maybe I can eventually shift more into chess, which is still my plan. And now I signed up to be an influencer. I'm not making a killing, but I'm making a little bit. I think I made like $200 as an influencer. And so if I can build my reach as an influencer, then I won't have to get a full-time job. Or if Walmart would cooperate and give me my bonus at least, I would have some money to play with. And then that 40 hours a week that most people spend at a full-time job for their entire careers, I could spend 10 hours a week writing articles and reviews and creating content for influencer payments, make a living that way. And that would give me so much more time to train for chess. And that's what I'm about, is how good can I get at chess before I die. All right, that's basically the tour. Anything to add, Monster? Any closing thoughts? You beautiful girl. Yeah, you're so pretty. Oh, one more story. I BS the realtors here. I wouldn't say I BS them. See, when I say I BS, I don't lie. I just don't tell the truth unless they ask for the truth. It's not lying. And I sleep well at night. But I walked into the realtor office here at the landing and I was like, hey, I want to buy a condo. They didn't ask questions. They're just like, hey, this guy's crazy enough to want to buy a condo during the most uncertain time economically, possibly ever. And so they took me on tours. I went and I met a lot of rich people, family from Florida that had some money, and I just toured the condos. They never asked for my income. But I got a bunch of listings and ideas to, if I do make money, I know right where I'm going, condo. Overlooking the fountain, I'm gonna set up chess tournaments with soundproof furniture. That way, if there's another pandemic, I'll have a nice quiet condo to invite grandmasters to. I'll have one room, most of them are 2 or 3 bedrooms. I'll have one room that is dedicated to podcasting. It'll be like and grandmasters, you gotta understand the time commitment it takes to be really good at chess. So you don't fucking waste their time. And if I get them out to the landing, one, I'll pay for them to helicopter out, and then we'll go right there. I'll have food and drinks ready for them. It'll be a party. There'll be one room where I interview them and get autographs for podcast purposes, and I just want to collect autographs from grandmasters, then I'll have a tournament set up. And if there's a pandemic, another pandemic that threatens our ability to be close, I have already networked with, her name is Julia, and she works at a company called Scott Rice, which is where I got my soundproof chest training phone booth at. And I told her, I'm like, Julia, hey, if I get a lot of money, I'm going to buy a condo at the Landing, and I'm going to pay you to come and deck it out with soundproof furniture, because the soundproof furniture also has different options that are COVID safe. So I could basically deck out that entire condo, and if OTB chess goes away again and we can't play chess in person, I'll fucking play chess in person, because I've got a lot of creative ideas to deck out that condo with a bunch of approved office furniture that will allow us to be safe but still be in person and play lots of chess. I'll have grandmasters and we'll just have fucking chess tournaments. I'll have a grand piano, we'll entertain. And if I'm entertaining during the chess tournament, I'm gonna get a bigger soundproof office piece so that we could possibly have 2 or 3 games going on inside and just section it off so it's quiet in there. But if they come out, it's a fucking party. It's a chess party. That's the best party ever, 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 is a party with chess and music in it. Oh man. But all this shit that I'm so excited about, and actually I'm in a position to possibly make reality, is because of my decision when I was not happy with how I was being asked to treat people. And I was kind of in that situation where a lot of us go through of, okay, I'm making good money, but I'm not happy, and I'm being asked to do things against my morals. You know, is this really all life is? You have to treat people badly just to have a miserable job. You know, can I have money and still be a nice person? And it was hard. And I think that's probably the answer to anyone struggling with that question, especially girls in dating, because every girl, if I had a daughter, I would want her to be with a nice guy, but I don't want her to be with someone who doesn't have money and can't provide for her either. So that was my thing, is I think that it's possible to have money and be a good person, but usually it takes a lot of pain, some risk taking, and a lot of creativity. But it's certainly possible. That's what I've learned from all this pain during COVID and loneliness and criticism is, you know, it usually just takes one decision. There's a song by Sammy Adams called Waste. And he says, what does Sammy say? He says, only takes one move to be on your way, whether you're tall, fat, skinny, pretty, straight, or gay. And his message is, you know, one decision can put you on a path to a completely different life. But it was hard for me because I saw all the comfort and money that I was enjoying and my coworkers were enjoying, but none of them were really happy either. They're just pretending to be so they keep their comfortable lives. But that one decision to say, I'm not that. I'm not a fucking corporate monster. I don't know what I am, but I'm gonna go figure it out. Where most people get to their career's end and they've made a lot of money, but they don't know who they are. And that'd probably be a lot worse than having temporarily less money, but at least knowing who the fuck I am and being happy about it. And now I think I'm gonna have both. But it required me making the tough choice of saying, fuck that. I'm not treating people that way. And now I found what I'm passionate about. But usually, unfortunately, it takes a lot of pain and loneliness to find out what we're passionate about. And I don't know that it's wrong to just pursue comfort and money. There's nothing wrong with money. And some people have the personality where they can just be mean to people in a corporate or political environment and still be happy. Like a lot of the people at Walmart corporate, especially the executives, I've seen them at the fitness center. Their CFO I saw at the fitness center a few times with his family, and he's a snake. I mean, you don't get to that level of business in corporate without stepping on some throats. But he thinks he's a good person, and he's just got that personality where he can rationalize it and sleep at night and treat people poorly and still be a good dad, it seems, and a good husband. I couldn't do it. And maybe that's not that he's wrong or I'm wrong. It's just he can be genuine because he's genuinely a snake, Brett Biggs. And I'm not, I mean, I had to try to be mean in that corporate world. And if I have to not be genuine, I'm not going to last, because eventually I'm going to get found out as a fraud. Love you, bitch. But that one decision to say, fuck this, set me on a whole different path. I got to meet, because had I never said fuck the corporate thing, that's another reason I'm so passionate about, you know, girls or guys in dating or employers in business. You know, give someone a chance, but be honest with them. If they suck, tell them they suck. That's why I like Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. You know, some people say he's harsh, but you know what? At least he doesn't encourage bad ideas and make people waste their lives. Wasting someone's time should actually be a crime. Because once I made that decision to say, fuck being an asshole, it was hard. My family criticized me, but that set me on a whole different trajectory I never thought would have happened. I stayed in St. Louis for a little bit until I ran out of money, or ran really low on money. I didn't run out of money. I met Wesley So and his mom. I think it was his mom after he won the U.S. Chess Championship. And Wesley So is a big deal. I mean, he's not number one like Magnus is, but Wesley So is definitely a top 10 chess athlete, and meeting him was incredible. And hearing a little bit about his story, I think he started playing chess when he was 6 and just got some inspiration from him. And I even told Wesley about my YouTube channel and connected with him on LinkedIn. I also saw Fabiano. I don't know how you pronounce his last name for sure. Caruana, I believe. And I don't know if Fabiano would recognize me because he meets so many people that are far more established in the chess community than me. But I just saw Fabiano walking with, I'm assuming, his girlfriend outside of the chess club, and I congratulated him on qualifying for the candidates. And those are two people, I mean, those are high-profile fucking people, not just in chess, but in the world. I mean, if you Google Wesley So or Fabiano Caruana, that's big deal people. And I got to meet them, but I never would have got to meet them and have other experiences that I'm excited about had I not said, fuck that. And that's important. People struggling with mental health to realize that usually getting healthy or finding something you're passionate about is just one hard decision. It's not it's not 10,000 things that have to go right. And oh my gosh, how am I ever going to figure it out? It's usually small things that you just have to do consistently. You have to consistently reflect and know who you are and what you want, or at least what you don't want. And then you can have opportunities to be happy. But the alternative is to always try to please people. And I'm not saying I was a people pleaser, but I certainly didn't like controversy. But I had to get out of that mindset of wanting to make people like me. Because if we do that, you know, you risk getting used and never finding out who you are. You're always trying to help people, and helping people isn't bad, but if you don't take care of yourself first, then you're always going to be desperate. And helping people out of desperation is not sustainable. All right. So that's a little bit about my routine. I've rambled for a while now. And if I ever become a big deal, maybe this video will be fun to reference. Nova. How pretty is Nova? You're pretty good. All right, we're going to go to sleep.